Welcome back to the channel, my YouTube families. How are you doing today? And what I thought I would do, we've been featuring the Division 2 on the channel lately. What I thought I would do today is give you a beginner's guide if you're thinking about picking that game up and playing it for the first time. This will be purely for people that either have just started the game or haven't played before. But you never know, if you've been playing for a while, you might pick up a few tips. I'm looking forward to this one, guys. Come join me. Let's do it. So one of the first places I think that makes sense to start with is the settings that I use for my gameplay. Now, I've got to say, you can play with the default settings if you like. I'm going to show you a few quality of life settings that make a huge difference. Well, I think they make a huge difference to the game. So we're going to head over to the firing range and we'll have a wee look. We are in the gun range, and yeah, there's a couple of settings that I suggest you make pretty much straight away before you start the game. You can run on default, as I said, but I'd suggest these will make a huge difference. So let's get into the settings menu. The first thing I would do, go to gameplay and scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll find that you have a field of vision. You have actually two field of vision options here. One is the general field of vision, which I'll bump all the way to 25, and then there's the additional vision while aiming, and we'll have a look at that in a second. I usually have that switched off, but we'll have a look at it for you in a second. Now, straight away, you'll see what a difference that has made to your peripheral vision. You can see a heck of a lot more. You can see a heck of a lot further. Okay, so let's have a look at this aiming in. What that does with that, the field of vision on, you can see there. So let's just change the settings quickly and just see if it gives us an advantage or not. And I think this is a personal preference, and I've seen people using it. I've seen people that just don't like it. So let's bump it all the way up and just see what difference it makes. Oh yeah, you can see that makes a huge difference. I actually think it makes it a little bit more accurate. Yep, I like that a lot. So, up to you if you want to use those. I highly recommend them. Let's move on to the next setting. The next one I suggest you do, now let me show you, demonstrate this. So you got the target, and you can see all those damage numbers are center mass. And what I think they do is they block the target, they block some of your sight, especially now that you've changed your field of view, they block your sight. So, you would have seen in the footage, my damages show up a little bit different. So go to UI and go to scrolling combat text and change it to floating. And you'll see now, it comes off on the side, it doesn't impair your view any, and you can get right on target. Now this has made a huge difference to my gameplay, I can tell you. It's only something I adopted very recently, and it makes a huge difference. Now, by the way, if you're in the shooting range, I'll just show you a quick trick. You can see these numbers up here, depending on what damage per second accuracy. See those numbers up here? If you shoot those, it pushes the target further away. If you shoot them, you can see that brings the target closer. So it's a nice addition to the shooting range. You will open the shooting range at some point very quickly as you're playing the main campaign, so don't worry if you haven't got it open at the moment. So the only other settings that I have basically are around the controls. Aim sensitivity, you can set that to where you want it to be. I'll leave it as default. You can have it where you want it to be. Vibration off, and then obviously play around with your dead zone numbers. Now I've got a new controller, so that's why mine are low. They're usually sit at 6 by default. Put them all the way down to 0. If your gun is floating or moving on its own, nudge these up, see what it does, and keep it as low as possible. So when your gun stops moving on its own, that means the dead zones are set. So there you go, guys. That's all the settings that I use. So there's one very major game mechanic that you have to master very early in the game, and I suggest you spend some time just practicing this. Let's go and find a little quiet area and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, one of the very important game mechanics is how you move from cover to cover and how you use your cover. So you'll see when I look at this cover here, it gives me an indicator, an A indicator. That'll be different on each system. So what you do is you go towards the cover and you press A and that'll put you on the cover. Now, say I want to move to the next potential place. So there's a cover there. If I press A again and run across here and then hit it, I'm into cover. But you can see that's reasonably slow to do. So here's the technique that I suggest you use. Okay, so get into cover, look at that, press and hold. There you go, and it will automatically put you into the next cover. Now, the game does give you these tutorials, but sometimes you forget them. If you're stuck behind cover and you need to mantle over, press the B, and that'll mantle you over. And the other thing about cover is there's two ways you can use cover to your advantage. You can peek up over there like that. That's my left trigger. There you go. Or you can actually press your right trigger if you're on controller, and you can actually fire over the top. Now, firing over the top is less accurate, but than this. But if you're trying to heal or something and you're just trying to keep the enemies off you, it is a nice little trick. So let's get into the fun stuff, the weapons and the gear. We need to hop into the inventory, so we'll pop over to the inventory, talk to you about the weapons, and then we'll talk to you about the gear. So you're going to get plenty of weapons and gear in the game. Let me tell you, you're going to get a ton and ton of weapons. So don't worry about it too much. You will get lots and lots of gear. So a few things I want to talk about with the gear sets and with the weapons. So let's hop into the inventory, and you can see I've got a ton of guns. I've just picked these up on my last run. I just got a ton. Look, just so many guns. So you have a choice. You go through these, you look at their kind of stats, and you make a determination whether you like to keep them or not. Now, you start with common weapons, and then you go from green to blue to kind of pinky purple to the yellow, the high end, and then there are exotics which are red later on in the game. Don't worry about that at the start. If you're not getting these different colors, they will come as you play the game. Generally, when you first play the game, you'll probably only have green or common weapons. So just have a look at these, go through all the different stats, try and match up for your playstyle. My suggestion is that you just try a number of these guns when you first play the game and see what works for you. Generally, for me, I'm rocking 3 different guns in my setup at one time. I generally have a SMG, which is got, you can see that's a reasonable high damage. It's usually pretty low compared to some other guns, but the big thing about this is it's got a high fire rate. So low damage, high fire rate. The second thing I generally rock is an AR of some kind. So you get the Mark 17, you've seen me play with a lot higher damage, a lot lower fire rate. Some of the ARs have a higher fire rate, lower damage. You just got to find the one that works for you, and get it to just keep it in there, and you'll get to know what kind of gun works for you after a while. And I also like to have, and you won't get this for a while, but I also like to have a sniper under my wing for longer distance engagements. I've been playing around with this one just lately. I've been playing around with the LMGs just to see how they work, but it doesn't matter. There's so many good guns in this game. Just play around, see what you like, and you'll find the one eventually that works for you. Now, you'll see that there's 3 stats there. There's damage, there's rate, the fire rate, RPM, and then there's the magazine size. So that generally tells you what kind of gun you're looking at. If you are going through, and you're going to have to do a lot of inventory management in this game. If you don't want it, one of the easy things to do here to be able to sell everything in one hit is just hit the mark as junk. Now you see down at the bottom there on that kind of first row, it says press LT, and you'll get a little symbol like that. And then you go through all these and sell those, or you can, the other thing you can do is you can actually deconstruct them and get materials if you like, if you don't want to sell them. If you've got a gun that you really like the Stoner, you can see you can mark this as, and if I press my right trigger, I get this menu here. You can mark it for donation, mark it for recalibration, and mark it as favorite. I generally mark it as favorite. Once you mark it as favorite, it will not allow you to sell it in the ooh, I don't know what happened there. It will not let you sell it in the store, which is kind of nice. The other thing about weapons, and we'll pick one out here, just any random one, is okay, so highlight the gun, and you'll see down at the bottom, top row second across is mod, and you'll be able to add attachments to your gun like this. So I'll show you where to get these attachments in a second, but you can see you've got a whole lot. I've got a whole lot of options here on what kind of sight I can put on and what buff that gives to the gun. So for the ACOG, it gives optimal range. The CQB SS scope 8 times, it gives me a headshot damage increase. This is the one that I generally use here. Where is it? There. The T2 micro red dot gives me a +10 accuracy boost. So just go through and have a look at all these different attachments, see which ones work for you, and you can do different builds on different guns. Okay, so after you've played the game for a while, I think it's the theater settlement, you're going to get Inya Al-Kahaiji, sorry I butchered that name, to come to the base of operations, and she'll come up with this crafting station. She'll make this crafting station available for you. Now as you go through the game, you're going to be picking up all kinds of stuff. You might be picking up attachments for your weapons. You probably more likely be picking up blueprints or earning blueprints, and we'll talk about how to earn blueprints in a bit. And yeah, you probably go into the menu that I just showed you and try and put attachment in your gun and they're not there. That's because you have to come to the crafting station. Open the menu, go to mods and miscellaneous, and here is where you will find your options for crafting all those attachments right there. And there is an absolute ton of them. My suggestion is you get in here and craft all of these, craft away to your heart's content. So you can see the ones with the tick are the ones that we've already crafted. The ones that have no tick but are open are still in need of crafting, and it's very easy to craft. You can see on the right hand side it's telling you how many crafting credits you need, how many titanium you need, and how many steel you need. If you need to check your resources, just I'll press my left trigger. You see right on the bottom there it shows you show resources. Here's all my base materials right here. And yeah, I just go through and I hit the crafting button, and it's that simple. Boom, done. So there you go. Simple as that. Couldn't be any more easy. And generally what I do is I come in here periodically, have a look at this, and just craft these, craft a whole heap at once. And you can see, for instance, the extended mags 9mm gives you extra 20 rounds, but at the penalty of minus 10% on reload speed. And these will all give you different buffs to boosts to your gun or buffs to your gun. So there you go, that's the crafting station. So the second part of the puzzle is your gear, and you're going to be constantly upgrading your gear. I know people have certain builds that they use, certain gear sets and stuff. I'm going to just talk you through the basics of this, because this is going to change a lot. So let's just have a look at this mask for example. As you get through the game, you're going to get those different levels of gear. You're going to get those kind of, as you can see, these are the purple ones. I've got a high-end holster there. You're going to get all kinds of gear. And generally how I used to run it was I used to just concentrate on the armor value and just put the higher armor value on. Now, one of the things that you will start to learn as you get through into the game is that there are different sets. So let me have a look at this. So the mask is Badger Tough, and they all have different little symbols on them. This is a Sokolov Concern. That's a Petrov Defensive Group. And they're all just different brands of gear. But you'll see with this one here, the ballistics vest, have a look over on the right hand side. You'll see it's a lightweight ballistic vest, level 26. It offers 8,343 armor, and then when you go down one, it goes Sokolov Concern 2 of 3. And what this means basically is if you have the same one or more of the same brand on, you get a boost. And you can see, because I've got one piece of that Sokolov Concern armor on, I get an SMG damage boost. If I have two, I get critical hit damage. And then if I put another piece on, I get another boost in critical hit damage. So it's important to know that if you're using gear sets, that you will get a buff. Then you've got your core attribute, which is a weapon damage increase. And then there's some more attributes as you go through. So just be aware that these gear sets will offer all kinds of different stuff. You see I've got a ton of gear to go through. I haven't looked at this yet. But this one is the Air Aldi Holdings set, and it gives me a 10% boost on my marksman rifle damage, as well as a 2.1 weapon damage, headshot damage, etc. So that's how the armor sets work. You can have different brands on it, or you can mix and match the same brand and get a boost. It's just up to you, but pay attention to these stats. And I know a lot of people, I'm running an LMG at the moment, so that's why I'm using this one. But a lot of people just look at the armor rating and don't really make a determination. You can see this is an interesting one. The combat mask is 4,241, but then I get an armor boost that pushes it up to 5,182. So yeah, take your time with these, and just try and sort out what works for you the best. So in the base operations, very early on, you're going to open up Dennison, who is the quartermaster, and the quartermaster will award you some skills. So choose very wisely, my friends. Go through and read all of these different skills and pick the ones that suit you. Now, you would have seen by the gameplay, for me, I generally go with the drone and seeker mine. That might not be what you want, but you will need skill points, and you will need SHD tech points as well to unlock these. But I think these unlock with skill points. I think the perks, which we'll talk about in a minute, are SHD tech points. So when you unlock these, there will be a yellow triangle on them showing you can open them up. And then when you click into them, it will give you a little bit of a description, but also you'll see there are different versions of the same skill. So figure out the one that kind of works for you. And yes, you do need skill points plus SHD tech to unlock these. And yeah, I generally run with this one here, and yeah, I like that one. But just as I said, take your time, go through these, find the one that works for you, and then run with it and see how it works for you. Likewise, a little bit further in the game, you're going to get perks, and there's all kinds of perks to choose from here. I generally, when I first start the game, I go for this one here, the headshot accolade. It gives you different XP, and again you need SHD tech points to unlock these, and there's different levels, so you can see there's a number of different levels there. With some of these at the moment I've maxed them out and I can't buy any more until I get to level 30, but I've got plenty of tech points ready there to buy all of this stuff. So again, something else, take your time, pick the ones that suit what you're doing at the time, and yeah, that'll help boost your character a little bit further. The vendors in this game are pretty easy. They'll have a number of things for sale, obviously. You'll be able to see your points down the bottom there, right down the bottom of the list there. So you can either buy, or if you want to sell, go through your inventory and sell them whatever you want to. You can even sell from your stash here if you would like, and you can also buy back anything that you sell them. So it's a really nice nice setup, very clean, very simple. You know, if you mistakenly sell a weapon that you didn't mean to, you can instantly buy it back at the same price. Nice. Let's talk a little bit about the map. Your main travel points throughout the map will be your settlements to start with. I highly advise you, once you get into a specific area, to go and find a safe house. Because the safe house, what that will do is it will start to identify all kinds of stuff like SHD points, side missions, control points, all kinds of stuff on the map. If you zoom in, sometimes you can't, from this view, you can't see everything that's going on. So if you zoom in, you'll see a few more things like this territory control, for instance. There's some components there, etc., and some areas that haven't been identified. So it's worth zooming into the map. Be aware that once you liberate an area, like I have here, these control points suddenly become fast travel points, like that, as well as the safe houses. And yeah, so that's very important for you to understand that these are actually fast travel points. Even these supply resource convoys, you can actually fast travel into. So that allows you to navigate through the map quickly, and say, for instance, if I wanted to get to this SHD cache, I'll probably fast travel to there and run there to save time. Quickly, we'll show you the us unlocking a safe house, just so you get an idea. Very important, when you come into the safe house for the first time, like with much stuff in this game, you'll get a little kind of walkthrough tutorial on your screen. Just click through that, read through it. The safe houses are pretty standard, pretty straightforward. There's lots of stuff in here, vendors, all kinds of stuff. The important thing is this search drive function when you first come in here. Just make sure that you activate that, and it'll start to put things on the map for you. Now, I suggest, well, a lot of these activities, especially with control points and territory control and stuff like that, that you might have to do very early on in the game. You might have to do a number of these just to level your character up a little bit, so that you can do the main mission. You can see there's a whole lot of side missions and all kinds of stuff going on in here. So this was taken from one of the episodes that we did recently. And you can see the safe house helps a lot, and it's a fast travel point and a meeting point and all kinds of stuff. So the very last thing I want to say is talk about a little bit about the looting system in this game. Make sure you're exploring the map a lot. Make sure that you're just taking your time. There is loot absolutely everywhere on the map, and let me tell you, if you are looking for it, you will be heavily rewarded for it. Not only will it give you resources for crafting, also resources to give to the settlements, so to get blueprints and all kinds of stuff like that. It will help your character in no end to level up, to be able to get those early boosts to your gear, to your guns, all kinds of stuff. The looting is a very key component in the game. So make sure you're doing that a lot really early in the game. Okay guys, that will do it for my beginner's guide on the Division 2. I hope it's useful. I hope it will get you into the game and get you up and running quickly, and that's what it's designed to do. If you've got any more tips that you think I've missed out on in this beginner's guide, please let me know in the comments down below. If it's helpful, I always like to hear from you that it has been helpful. A like rating is always appreciated, and we'll catch you next time on the channel. I'll see ya.